Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel, Planning with Bree. I'm Bree, and today I am going to be doing an ABC journaling insert as my July review. Right here is a quick look at my August cover page. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it above right there in the top right. But let's go ahead and get into the journaling. So I also have a video on this part or on this spread explaining ABC journaling, why I use it, everything about it from my understanding. This video is basically going to be about what I wrote about for my July review. I was looking up some questions to help with some self-reflection and just growth as a person. I can't remember exactly what I searched. I would say that I'll put it in the video later, but I'm probably not going to remember later. But on the off chance that I do, I will put it in the video as just some text. But anyway, I was looking up some questions just to help myself with self-reflection, self-growth, mindfulness, things like that. And I am preparing myself to work all the way through this list. Now, the first list has about 12 questions. And the first question is, am I spending my time wisely? And I had to write a big fat no on that paper. And I was taken aback because I was like, okay, if I'm not spending my time wisely, that's a big problem because I'm a somewhat busy person. I am about to become busier. I have goals as well. I need to be spending my time wisely. Okay. So with that being said, I decided to use that as my topic for my July review. So in step one for ABC journaling is to start with the consequence, the emotions or behaviors, and apply the 3 principles of description. Now, I talked about the 3 principles of description in my last video, which is linked in the cards and in the description of this video. But my step 1 was that in the mornings, I spend at least 1 hour on social media, which is like unproductive time. It's not time that I'm being productive or creating a reel or anything like that. I'm just scrolling on social media, and that's anybody's social media. You know what I'm saying? Like any social media. And some days I'm tired. Other days I don't want to get started on my day because I'm thinking about all the things that I have to get done once I get to work. Now, with that being said, I wake up between like 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning every single morning without an alarm because I used to be a school teacher. I used to have to wake up really early. So I'm still like somewhat ingrained to wake up really early. And sometimes I still roll over at 6 o'clock in the morning and I just tell myself to go back to sleep because we're not doing that. Okay. So with that being said, I don't go to work until later in the day. I basically work second shift. That's what you can call it. I don't have to go to work until hours and hours later. And I find myself just not being productive in those 3, 4, 5 hours that I have before I have to get ready for work. And that just makes me feel lazy. It makes me feel sluggish. And then when I get to work, I still have all of those things to do that I was laying around thinking about or walking around the house thinking about that I still have to do. And I feel the exact same way. And on top of that, I didn't get anything done. So that was my whole thought process for this journaling insert. I'm currently about to do step 2, which says to describe the activating event or agent and avoid judgments. So the activating event or agent, I would say the activating agent for me is procrastination. I don't want to start any very hard tasks, or I don't necessarily have to start the hard tasks until I get to work anyway. But I also just kind of feel like, what's the point in getting up? I don't have to be at work until later, so what's the point in getting out of bed? Like, yeah, what's the point? I'm also like laying in bed because the things that I want to do in the mornings, which I'll talk about a little later, but the things I want to do in the mornings, I have been inconsistent with, so I'm not seeing progress. So sometimes in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I haven't seen progress this far. Why would I keep doing it? Which it's just a lie I tell myself when in actuality, I need to actually get up and do the things, right? Because without consistency, you won't see growth, you won't see change, you won't see progress. So there's a reason I'm not seeing progress. And the reason I'm not seeing progress is the reason is the effect of me staying in bed. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So it's basically like a constant loop in my head. So that's step 2. While I'm doing this, and I just want to pause my thought process just to kind of tell you guys what I'm doing. I am actually like writing these things down. I'm thinking about the steps. I'm actually pausing my camera to just think about what I'm about to write, because this is something that I want to have I want to have something to take away from this. I don't want it to just be a video. You know what I mean? So most of the time when I do these pages, they are not aesthetically pleasing. This is my first time recording one, so I thought that I could maybe spruce it up with a couple of colors. But for the most part, the way that I'm setting my page up is how I want it to look. So I'm about to do step 3, and step 3 is about to go in a very, very small box right here. Because what I want to see when I first look at this page is not step 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's actually step 5. So the way that these are laid out is to give myself room for step 5. So everything that I have on this page, I want the end result to be more prevalent. I want it to be more pronounced, and I want it to be at the forefront of this page. So everything else is just, wherever I have room for it. With that being said, I have done ABC journaling numerous times. So I know that step 3 is not a step that I use or I need a lot of space for. I do use it, but usually when I use it, it's in conjunction with step 4. So step 3 says to find out the belief. And there are a couple questions that it gives, and it's basically the beliefs about like the thing that's causing the behavior. And then step 4 is to challenge that belief. So I usually do step 3 and step 4 together, but for the sake of really taking my time to think about this, I wanted to do step 3 separate from step 4, which is why I don't have a lot of space. I don't need a lot of room for step 3. But anyway, for step 3, back to my train of thoughts while I was doing all of this. One of the beliefs that I have is that I have nothing better to do. Why not? Just watch TV or scroll on social media after I've, done my first 15. My first 15 only takes about 15 to 30 minutes. I still have hours and hours left that I could be doing something with, but why bother? My belief is that I've already been unsuccessful with the things that I would like to try to change. So why would I try again? Another belief is that I'm procrastinating because I have time later. And step 4 is where you challenge all of this. So those are the 3 beliefs that I wrote down. So for step 4, to challenge the belief, is it logical? Is it congruent with facts? Those are the 2 questions that I like to answer. About 2 years ago, has it been 2 years now? I think so. About a year or 2 ago, I was doing this fact versus feeling campaign for myself. Everything that happened in my life, I was a teacher at the time. Anything that happened, and trust me, there was a lot that happened, okay? And I had to speak to people who were in higher positions than I was. And when you have to do that, you have to separate the fact versus the feeling. There are a lot of feelings that go into teaching, especially at a school that I was teaching at in the middle of a pandemic. But I had to separate my fact versus feeling. So I think I'm a little better at that now. I don't think I'm pretty good at it yet. I'm working towards it, but I'm much better than I used to be. I used to go off, like completely go off on the CEOs and the higher ups of my schools just based off of feeling. And I'm not advising that. I'm not telling you to go off on your boss. I'm just saying it happens. So this is a very important step because it's very important to sit down and think about the belief, compare it to facts, and then give yourself something else to think about, which is step 5. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So for step 4, the belief that like I have nothing else better to do, that is illogical, because I have created a morning routine for myself about 5 times in the past year, and that is no exaggeration. So I obviously think there's something better I can do if I can create an entire morning routine. There's a list of things that I can do. So that isn't actually an illogical belief. I do have things that I can do. And then I list some of those things out, which is what I'm doing right here. The belief that I have time later is illogical as well. Now, this is where the scale comes in handy. Like, some of your beliefs can have a little bit of validity to them, but the reason that it's keeping you from doing something kind of makes it illogical. So the fact that I have time later has a little bit of validity, because I could do the things that I'm putting off in the morning at night. I could, but I'm not going to. When I get off from work, and I said I work kind of like second shift, so by the time I get off, I don't want to do any of the things that I can do in the morning when I have the most energy. So that's more illogical for me than it is logical. It does have some validity. Yes, I will have time when I get off from work. It's not like I have to go to sleep immediately, but you know what I mean? It's more illogical. And then the last one is I am unsuccessful. And this one is more illogical as well, because I am unsuccessful at certain things, and that is what keeps me in bed. But I am unsuccessful at certain things because I have not worked to be successful. One of those things is like weight loss, right? I've talked about that previously on my channel. I don't like to harp on it. Another one is being unsuccessful at my job. So being unsuccessful at my job is actually kind of illogical, because I'm, not to toot my own horn, but I'm doing okay at work. The reason that I'm unsuccessful with losing weight is because I don't work out when I should, as consistently as I should, which is a part of my morning routine, which I have created, like I said, about 5 times in the last year. So the fact that I'm unsuccessful, quote unquote, is illogical. So writing all of these beliefs down and putting the word illogical next to them in all caps is very helpful. So the last step I'm going to do is step 5, which is to write down good alternative beliefs. What else can I think about other than these feelings that I have that are quite honestly not congruent with facts? And I had to think about this for a minute, because I wanted it to be something that stood out to me and something that I could hold on to every single day, help me get up and do my morning routine in the morning. When I say morning routine, guys, I have like a list of things that takes hours to do. So what I chose was something that I'm sure we have all heard before, which is I can start every day with a success. So if I'm feeling unsuccessful in all of these places in my life, we'll start my day with a success. And if I do that, then I've already been successful. If I complete my morning routine and then I go to work and I have a crappy day at work, the students ain't acting right, the parents talking crazy, you know what I mean? Then, if I just have a bad day, I've already been successful. I've talked to God. I've gotten myself right. I've gotten myself centered. My energy is better. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked out, so that's a success physically. I've moved my body, so now I have more energy. So if I can start every single day with a success, it doesn't matter what happens for the rest of the day. So that's what I chose to write for step 5. The last thing I do is put my date on this page, and then I just put a few finishing touches. Like I said, guys, this page is just an example. This truly is like my thought process and something that I am going to use in life. But my pages for ABC journaling are usually not this cute. So yours don't have to be either if you decide to do a page like this. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will have a non-talking version of this video posted if you would like to just kind of vibe out and do some 15 minutes of journaling. But thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.